Hello, YouTubers. This is Joe Bravo and Mo Bravo's Knife Reviews. Today I have, for the fourth time in my possession, a Waka. This is a Waka 3.4 titanium holy Edison Barajas Shark Vinco. I never say it right, but it's all good. He uses proprietary hardware on his pivot, and in the later revisions, I believe it was 3.4, he went to body screws being proprietary as well. Utilizes a very cool shark tooth pivot. It's got the shark tooth or the shark emblem on the blade. And the best thing about the Holy Waka is that you can see him through the hole, which is badass. So this knife I've had on here is really fun to play with. I think everybody knows I like multiple deployment method knives, so that's why I think I wanted to put this guy back up there and compare it to some of my other multiple deployment knives. I guess the first one I'm going to do is my favorite, which is the Maverick Concepts Asuka. I don't think I put this one on the channel yet. This is a liner lock iteration, 3.3 inch on bearings, has a really nice strong detent. You could spidey flick it, you could thumb flick it. It's got a nice shake shut, and you can even panty drop it. So ultimately, this is probably my favorite knife. Maybe not this iteration of it, but I'd say the Asuka is probably my favorite knife of all time right now. Multiple deployment. It has a lot of fidgetability, very comfortable, very useful profile, and I think I've come to the bottom of it. Let's see how this knife cants in. What you don't see on some of the other knives, and maybe the Waka is a good, because of the blade profile, this squares off. And, I find that Ian's does that as well. So some of his longer knives are almost, you have to hold from the side here. Edison's is just around the cusp of it. But what happens is, on the Asuka, because it's that Warncliffe style blade, fits into the palm of my hand so well that I really can get a good ramp up. And that's going to bring me to my next knife, the Steve Carroll pick. Now, I had one of these, I sold it, and I was an idiot for doing so, because what I found out is the exact same thing. With that Warncliffe style blade, man, you could just really get this ramp up on it. And I don't care for 3-inch blades all that often. And, it's funny, I want to get the ruler out just so that I could see how big this pick is from end to end. And it is every bit 7 inches. But I'll tell you, like the CK Small Tyrant I have, because of this blade profile and because of this little backspacer that has the lanyard hold, it fits so nice. I don't feel like it's going to fall out of my hand. And that was one of the things with the Asuka that I had. One of the original 3-inch prototypes with the hole, my buddy Noah has now. When I would front flip it, I would feel like I was going to drop it out of my hands. And I don't know, maybe it's because I've gotten better at manipulating smaller knives, or just because this one fills the hand so well. There's not too many 3-inch knives or 3-inch blades, 7-inch overall, that you could get a full grip on 4 fingers, and this one does. So I'm telling you, the way that he's got this spoon, Steve does, it's really comfortable, and it's got a really nice finish on it. It is on bearings, but if you could see, it like hides the wear really well, and it's got a really nice pocket clip. And it's funny, I had a couple of Roosevelts recently. I've been trying to compare it to this, and I think this wins over a titanium Roosevelt in a pair of jeans. It's just, it takes up less space. It's more comfortable. It's a little lighter. Really, really nice knife. And again, one of the ones that deserves to be on this board. And comparing it, to this Waka, which is really, really hot right now. So the next knife I'm going to move to is the Cortex. I know everybody's seen me at nausea. This is probably my 14th Cortex. Craig Brown out of Washington with the hole and the top flip and the thumb flip and the top thumb flip. I mean, you could even, man, you used to be able to do it. And pinky? Used to be able to. Nope. Anyway, multiple deployment, excellent glass-like action, and probably one of my, I'd say, second favorite knives as far as design, fidgetability. The Cortex and the Asuka. I know you guys have seen it. Definitely my favorite. I think the pick is slowly making its way up there because of that 3-inch blade profile. It deploys so quick. I mean, I know that sounds so funny, but by the time you clear that detent, it's open. And I think the same can be said with the Cortex. It is a long knife. I think it's almost 7 3/4. Is it 8? It is 7 and a little bit, almost 7 3/4, which is a big knife. But again, it's a lot to be said when you break that stiff detent and that knife is out, I know, before you even had a chance to break the detent. And that's why these 3 knives are probably top 3 easily. Anton, I've been breaking his chops. He built me a dual action flipper, but his iteration of the hole in the Boudica wasn't really my favorite. So I had this 7-inch laying around. I know you guys seen it on the channel before, and his Damascus work is out of control. But I stole a little bit of command strip and I taped it in there. And now I get the best of both worlds. I get Anton's incredible IKBS bearing action, and I could deploy it. Remember I said about how this is squared off and tapered, and it just ramps right up. And I think that's, again, it's like almost a cheater. The length of the blade doesn't matter because of the location of this command strip. So I could cheat. I mean, nobody would ever put a stud all the way down here, but I can get all the way up, almost like choking up on a baseball bat, hold it in here and flick it straight up. And she just flies. I think, the who was it? Mitchell Clark. I used to put a little command strip on it, and it was great because his action as well. That South African, I break the detent, it comes flying out. That was running on skiff cage bearings, but still, it was so satisfying. But even with this Anton, I think it's better, which is why the Mitchell Clark isn't here anymore. I can get so much torque on that pivot by having that grip tape there because of the amount of surface area that this blade profile allows. This is Anton's harpoon style blade. Whereas some of his other knives, or the Mitchell Clark, for instance, if you don't have enough ramp up, then you're kind of just flicking out. And I'm telling you, it is stupid. And I got to blame Craig Brown for this. If I didn't start messing around with the Cortex, I don't think I would have had the same, I guess, flexibility or, even just the wherewithal to put the tape on that knife. Because if you look at it, the placement of that tape really coincides with where the hole is on the brown. And when you flick it, man, it just screams out of your hand. And because of that, this Anton's probably in the keeper collection. So top 4 are most certainly the pick, the Asuka, the Cortex, which is hysterical because they all have that Wharncliffe style blade, which when I started into this journey, I never would have said that the Wharncliffe was my favorite. And then the Anton, just because Anton styling, his Damascus work, the dual action, I really just enjoy the hell out of it. The Waka is definitely not going to stay again. I, was able to talk to Edison about a couple of things today and, trying to tell him what I think is maybe something to look at or not, but it's up to him. I don't think it's a bad knife. I think it's an excellent knife. I think his fit and finish is stellar. I think Andy Leonard, the way he does these hole patterns, they don't get in the way, which is great. Sometimes putting a hole in something just to put a hole in something turns a really nice knife into a cheese grater. but not this. There's a really nice chamfered edge on these holes, so there's no chance of getting caught up. Edison uses a loose bearing system. I believe it's his own. Don't ask me how many because I forgot. But, it's just breaking in, and it's a terrific knife, and it sucks because, you tell yourself that you're going to move it along, and then you mess around with it, and you play with it. And that front flipping action is really, really nice. But, you can't keep everything, and, I'll probably get another one later on down the road because that's what I do. Real quick before I go, I just do want to have a little call out. I did get a new knife back. My Roosevelt with the side cut carbon fiber is back. I'm not sure if you could see it with the light, but this is factory from OZ Machine. The stiff detent on this guy is amazing. Something I find that on the newer Roosevelts with the Magna Cut, they do have a little bit more drop shut action, but the satisfying detent on these old ones are tremendous. And again, I'm just going to call out, like I talked about with the Anton. You see how low? This is like the BBM was like this too, because of the length of the hole and the Simeon. If you go back and look at the video, the Simeon untos that I had, where this reference is in relationship to the choke up, it's great. It really is. It gives you so much variability with where you want to hit that and where you want to deploy it. And I'm really happy to have this guy back in the lineup, so. And then the sleeper, this is the Mac Crusade. I know I'm running a little late, but I don't do too many videos nowadays, so I just wanted to get it all out there. Jim, and I can't remember how to pronounce his last name, starts with the letter V, and I'll put it in the comments. From HMC, is doing tremendous work with a lot of the new makers or, custom makers. This is done by Ian from CMF. He designed the Crusade, and Jim took a model that Ian sent to him and scaled it down and is utilizing CNC machines to build these knives. So everything you see here, instead of being custom made by Ian and milled with his Bridgeport or with his milling machines, this was done from a CNC. And I'm going to have to tell you, this is excellent work. I'm really enjoying it. And I think what I'm enjoying most is this footprint. It's a little longer than the mid-mistress that I had. Very smooth on bearings. Really, really nice pocket clip. Sits really nice. I had this in my pocket all last night when I went out to dinner. And just an overall excellent knife. Being that this is the first time I had it on the channel, I'm just going to weigh it real quick. We're talking about 3.4 ounces. My Roosevelt with titanium construction, that came in at 3.1 ounces. This pick is coming in at 3.4 ounces. So what Jim did, which is tremendous, and you're not going to be able to see it, is he lightened with lightning cuts the inside of this to make it a really, really, really light knife. I mean, if that was full titanium, it would probably be closer to the Anton, which comes in at around 4 ounces. Where are we? So we're at 3.4, and the Anton comes in at 4.1. So if you think about it, Jim and Ian have collectively made a smaller EDC-friendly knife in a lighter package utilizing CNC machines. And then Ian gets it, he assembles it, and he puts the grind edge on the blade, and he does the finishing that he wants. This one has an orange peel finish. There's others that have a faux Damascus on the blade, or not Damascus, Herman, whatever they call that. I can't think about it right now. But he'll put something as a finish on the blade. Or even there's some pivots floating around, at a mother of pearl or abalone, or even Dark TI. My buddy Kenny has a Dark TI version on the clip, a Dark TI version on the pivot, and Dark TI on the studs. So there's a couple different variations, which is nice. And Jim over at HMC, he's doing this with Kurt American. They're designing a Mac Ultimatum. There's also CK, Matt Christensen. He's doing the Outlier, I believe it's called. So there's a couple of really nice knives coming out of Jim's shop, which you certainly should take a look at. It's going to be tough moving any of these knives, because that's what you do. You move a couple of knives, you trade them out so that you can get something new on the channel. But, right now I'd say I've got a 6-knife collection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 of these knives are fantastic. I could carry any of them. I could fidget with any of them. I could cut any of them. They all have great makers. You could do a spa with OZ. You could do a spa with Ian. You could send it to Craig to get it cleaned up and sharpened because he offers unlimited free sharpening on his knives. Nick is great to do spa work. Steve, he's located here in the Northeast. I'm sure if I gave him a call, he could tighten that one up and sharpen it up if I needed to. I guess the only one would be Anton sending a knife to South Africa. But believe it or not, this coating on here is very tough. And this has that almost tire rubberized finish on that Cerakote. And I don't think there's anything I have to worry about. If it was something that needed to be refinished on the clip, I could always give my buddy James a call over at We Make Sick Shit, and I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem refinishing that for me. So at the end of the day, I've got a really nice collection with a whole bunch of reputable makers that make excellent work with excellent actions, quality materials, and, I have the ability to use these without crying about scraping it or scratching it or not having it to send it to somebody back to or, keeping value in the knives. And, that's what this journey has got me to. So if nothing else, I'm very happy that I've been able to share this through, I guess, almost the last 18 months. I'm not sure how many more videos I'm going to be doing. It really just depends on what comes through. But, if today I was done making videos or done collecting, I would not scoff over this collection that I put together that really just makes itself fit to me and my needs. So appreciate you guys watching. I'm sure I'll do another video, and I'm sure I'm going to get another knife because that's what I do. But I really appreciate everybody who's supported the channel, supported my journey, and I look forward to talking to you next. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.